Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 17th of October, 2019. This is The Gap, episode 489. I'm Luke Lawrie, Joab, Gilroy's here, and you didn't get any PAX flu. Doesn't seem like.
No. I was talking about this yesterday, but I think I might have actually been patient zero, eh? I might have been patient zero. Because I had hay fever like a motherfucker. Like just the loosest fucking, like, full-blown, just... It's my... I want to take his face off type shit. It was non-stop sneezing. I was taking Telfast. I wasn't doing fucking shit. It was the worst, but...
Good Melbourne, honestly. It's the best. Was it raining?
No, actually, it was perfect weather the entire time. It was really weird.
Surprise.
It was. I packed extra clothes that I never wound up using, so thanks for making me waste my fucking time, Melbourne. So, yeah, I actually thought that I might have been patient zero because of all the sneezing, right? Like, and obviously sneezing alone isn't enough, but I had been that sick the other week.
Yeah.
I talked about it. And there was a chance, right? What if it was lying dormant within me? And all the sneezing, I became just a carrier for this virus, this heinous sickness.
Yep.
And I transmitted it to everyone because obviously that's what you do when you sneeze at people. I was doing the old the Dracula, you know, like the Dracula sneeze technique, where you pull your cloak across yourself and straight into your elbow pit,
like elbow.
Yeah. So that's the only, decent way. I'm a decent human being. I'm not trying to be patient zero. I just wonder if perhaps, and inevitably, it may have, happened regardless. Because everyone's fucked. I'm fine. I'm super fine. Thank fuck I'm fine though. Because if I'd been sick, this week would have been fucking hell. I had so much work to catch up on when I got back from PAX. So yeah. I dodged some shit when not getting PAX.
Speaking of PAX, we recorded early last week. I just remembered this. We recorded early last week because you were going to PAX and we were trying to decide on what day to do it. And I think we decided on, I think it was Tuesday here and Wednesday for you.
Yeah.
Something like that. So we recorded, everything went fine. And the next 2 days, it was Fleet Week over here in San Francisco, which is this giant thing where they get a bunch of like the sort of like, it's like a Navy, US military sort of parade thing. They show off a bunch of, boats come in and planes and whatnot. And they were practicing for 2 days straight on the Thursday and Friday here. And we wouldn't have been able to record. It was so fucking loud.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it puts your planes to shame. Because these were like military jets that were flying around. And the airline path is literally directly over my house. So for them to get here, they were flying over my apartment. I thought we were getting bombed. I thought we'd pissed off China and that was it. We're done. Because I didn't realize they'd be practicing. And it was nuts. It was insane. They're extremely loud military planes, like flying over the top of the apartment. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're going to practice for a couple minutes because they're only sort of they sort of like go for a couple hours on the day or the 2 days that they do them, but during those days they're only up for like 10-15 minutes. It's the sort of towards the end of the day is when the pilots are on a little bit longer, so the F-30, I think it was F-35s, are on for about 30 minutes and then the Blue Angels are up for about 40 minutes to an hour.
Jesus.
So I'm like, oh, they're just going to be out there for a little while. But no, they were out there for about 5 hours, like practicing. This dude was in a jet just fucking doing burnouts in like the bay for 5 hours. It was so loud.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a good thing that we recorded. But also, I went to a party on the Saturday, and it was like rooftop parties all over San Francisco. And we watched planes doing stupid things for 4 hours while listening to Danger Zone, so it was pretty good.
Nice.
On repeat.
On repeat? Sweet.
Yeah. And then also, I can't talk about what I've been doing the last couple of days, but I wasn't in San Francisco And I missed my first earthquake, which happened like 2 nights ago.
Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't big, but it was like a 4 point something, but it went apparently for a while.
Right.
And I was up at the time because I saw my Twitter feed going off. And I
Yep.
messaged my wife, and she was asleep and did not wake up.
Gold. I I remember my first earthquake in LA, and it was like a really little one, and I had to look it up later. I think it was like a 2 point something, like really little.
Yeah.
And but I felt it, and I turned to the other people at the event. I'm like, "Holy shit! Did you guys feel that?" And then, like the American there was like, "Yeah, that's nothing. Don't worry about it." I'm like, the fucking world is moving, dickhole. Like, what do you mean? Don't worry about it. Fuck off. Yeah, that's some weird shit. Earthquakes are weird, man.
Yeah.
We dodged that shit pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like all the animals might be trying to kill us, but
Earthquakes
the
and guns.
planet
No.
itself isn't. Yeah.
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 The other thing I want to mention is I went and saw Gemini Man at the theater over the
Starring Will
weekend.
Smith and Will Smith.
Yeah, starring Will Smith and younger Fresh Prince Will Smith.
Right.
Using sort of like it's not de-aging tech. They're sort of mapping another face on top of another actor on top of Will Smith, and then getting like references from his older, like Independence Day, Fresh Prince sort of era.
Weird.
Yeah, and it does look pretty good in most scenes. There is some stuff where you're like, this looks like they put this scene in last minute to fix up some plot hole or something. Because
Right.
in some stages you're like, this is really uncanny valley. But I just want to talk about quickly the format that I saw it in, which was HFR, high frame rate, I think.
Oh, yeah.
In 3D as well. And a couple of years back, The Hobbit tried something similar where they showed off their films in, I think it was 48 FPS, so they doubled it because most films are shot in 24. I think that's how they sort of do it.
Because the human eye can't see more than 24.
That's exactly right. And I don't
Yep.
know if you went and saw The Hobbit, but I did in 3D as well. And I remember watching that, and it was terrible. It like burnt my eyes. They were like bleeding, literally, like blood.
Sweet. Actual blood.
But no, not actual blood.
Yeah, and not just from the insides, right? Blood from the inside of the eye, that's the fake shit. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Blood from the outside, that's when you know something's going wrong, right? Inside, demonic possession. Outside, your eyes are trying to escape from your head.
Yeah.
That's how you know. That's some fun facts. That's some good knowledge for anyone listening at home.
If your eyes are ever bleeding.
Yeah,
during an
how to know
apocalypse.
which version of eyes bleeding is really bad, right?
Yeah.
Demonic possession, not so bad. Eyes trying to escape, definitely don't want.
Yeah. So anyway, this film was shot in 3D with 3D cameras at 100 and I think it was 120 frames per second.
Right.
Using like proper cameras. And there are apparently a small handful of cinemas that can actually display that format, and none of them are in America. There were about 12 of them that could actually show the high frame rate with I think the 70 mil, which is like, I think it's Dolby IMAX or something like that. But it was shot in 4K, so they had to scale it down to 2K because there's no cinemas over here at least. I'm not sure about back home. There probably isn't either. But there's a limited amount that they could actually sell. So I got a chance to see it in 120 frame rate in 3D, and it was actually pretty impressive tech. I did not, like, as soon as the film started up, my eyes adjusted straight away. They'd never heard it all. Like, I don't go see 3D films because I hate them for the most cases, because a lot of films that are shown in 3D aren't actually filmed in 3D. They use post-conversion methods, and they're generally pretty bad. There are some exceptions to that. There are films shot in 3D, and they're generally pretty good. And this is one of them. And also, so I just want to talk about the frame rate for a second, because as I said, we watch movies in 24, but if you were to play a game at 24, you can anything below 30, you start to notice a problem, especially if it's inconsistent. And we've gotten to the stage where I don't know about you, but I've got a 144 hertz monitor. I'm not sure what you're rocking these days.
Yeah, 144.
About the same. Yeah. And it's people say that you can't notice a difference between that and 60, and that is complete horseshit. You can definitely tell a difference between 60 and 144 or upwards, or even 30 to 144, whatever.
You can tell the difference between 30 to 60. I can tell the difference between fucking 24 to 30.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, exactly. If I'm seeing frame drops, I'm like, yeah, that's dropping. You can tell it's not hitting 30.
Frame drops, right, though, refers to a lack of consistency, I think, whereas low frame rate in general is still super noticeable, but
yeah, absolutely.
Frame drops are more like those spikes, right? I think frame drops are way worse than a consistent low frame rate, which I think is what consoles tend to go for, right? They want a consistent low frame rate because they can't maintain a consistent high frame rate. But yeah, spikes you definitely notice because that's the actual stuttering, which sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're watching a film like that. At least The Hobbit had this weird, it looked strange when you watched The Hobbit. It didn't look right. And I think that's because just the technology maybe wasn't right, or the way they filmed it. Whereas this definitely, the first time you see it, your eyes are like, oh, okay, this is not something I'm used to. But within a couple of minutes, it's fine. You absolutely you're watching it. So yeah, and the action, the way it handles action is a lot differently, because on standard film, you sort of you get this blurring effect, I guess, especially when it's fast-paced action, right? But this is so smooth that they've got to sort of rethink the way they do action. And it looks completely different when you do action set pieces. You've got cars flipping and gunfights and whatnot. And it's directed by Ang Lee, and he definitely takes advantage of the technology and thinks of different ways to film, I guess to show what's going on using these cameras. And there's some really impressive shots in the actual film, which I think would stand out. You wouldn't get that in just watching it normally. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if you have the opportunity to go see it in that, it's a nice spectacle type of film
format.
It's not a good film at all. I think it's maybe 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think that's just critics being it's not art, whatever. But it's a good popcorn movie, right? It's got Will Smith. It's got the last Will Smith movie that was actually critically good was. Has he done one? I don't know.
Didn't he do that concussion movie?
Sure, that was probably it. But all of his films are generally pans but they're usually decent action films to watch. Independence Day is a good film, and I like Enemy of the State and those sorts of things.
And Boys.
Don't forget that. Exactly. But so yeah, it's a good action film to watch, and if you can get a chance to check the technology out, it's interesting because you'd never seen a film shot like that before. But otherwise, don't set your expectations too high, because at the end of the day, it's just an action film. I don't know if I'd go see it for the standard film. I don't know how it compares to that, but it's still cool to see such a difference between how film is normally shot and then what they're trying to do by pushing high frame rate content. I don't think it's obviously probably not going to catch on just because the technology is not there in the cinema chains, except for sort of some of them. But anyway, it's a cool thing to sort of compare what they're trying to look at, what directors are trying to look at in film, and sort of relating that to video games and how people are trying to get now 60 is not the normal. You want to play hardcore games, you want to push 140 plus, that sort of thing. So yeah. Anyway, I think it looks really good. Anyway,
cool.
I just want to mention that. But do you want to talk about PAX for a bit?
Before we talk about PAX, I watched a movie.
Well, okay.
I watched a movie as well.
Yeah,
it's called The Night Comes for You. I don't know if you've seen this, but
sounds like a joke.
No, it's an Indonesian film. Got a lot of the same people who worked on the Raid.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the Raid, but like with horror movie violence. It's not a horror movie under any circumstances. It is a Indonesian action film. But the fucking good lord, good god, the gore in this fucking movie is out of control. It is just fucking over the top. Some of the shit that goes down in this movie, just they just don't pull any punches. And I think like one of the I think the drawback to it is that maybe the action isn't as clean as the Raid. You know, the Raid was a lot of like really fixed shots that showed the fucking sick choreography and the awesome stunt work.
Yeah.
And this is instead they got to use cuts to disguise the switch for the effect.
Sure.
You know, because they use a lot of practical effects, a lot of special effects. Like they blending a lot of stuff, but the end result is that like fucking heads are getting fucking exploded and stuff, and they don't really shy that much away from that. It's like slasher film type shit, but to make it work, they had to use some cuts during the action, which is it sort of hurts the martial arts a tiny bit, but the end effect is like nothing I've ever fucking seen before. It's fucking bananas. Story's not that great. Like a sort of like a comic book story, but like sort of like a Smoke and Aces type thing. You know, like not a great story, just mostly a vehicle for action, but works out fine anyway.
Raid technically have a good story either. It's a dude going from the bottom floor to the top floor.
Yeah, but there's a bit in the Raid. There's a bit in the Raid. You know, there's interpersonal relationships and stuff that I think are pretty good that just aren't there in The Night Comes for You. But there's some particularly bad acting as well. It sort of like flips between Indonesian and English at times, and any scene in English is not very well done. But like I don't really hold it against them. It's again just a vehicle for the fucking action. It's hardly worth watching.
Is it from Gareth Evans, the guy that did that?
No, I don't think. No, I don't think it's. Yeah, it stars a lot of the same people.
Because did. I think he did one of the shorts in like VHS 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
which was a horror anthology.
Yeah. No, I don't think this is a Gareth Evans joint though. Yeah, but definitely worth watching. It's on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
Easy peasy. But yeah, just want to point that out. Anyway, PAX. Let me bring up my notes because a lot happened. First things first, right off the bat, I want to say this is probably the last year I go to PAX for 3 days, and yeah, I don't think there's a lot of value in it for me personally. It is a massive money sink, and I think if I was there purely for fun, I would have a lot more fun. But it is basically instead it's me paying a fuck ton of money to go do work for 3 days, and I'm not that thrilled with the return on investment there. I mean,
where'd you go, Joab?
What it is usually I get paid to do work. I don't pay to do work. So from that perspective, PAX isn't worth it. But that said, I could definitely see going down and flying back the next day. I don't think I could do like a fly in, fly out type PAX adventure because I definitely saw some great stuff at PAX this year, but most of the good times I had were at a bar nearby, and it's mostly just an opportunity for everyone to come together and to see a bunch of people and all that kind of stuff. I can't walk like fucking 15 meters through PAX without running into some people, which is rad, right? Like, because otherwise, like, you only see them when you're organized to see them, and I get along with heaps of people, so it's always exciting
Most
to
of
see. I get along with most people.
A few people you piss off.
I definitely piss off some people. But yeah, no. So yeah, I don't think I'll go next year just for that reason.
I
like
think
I
the
said,
Thursday to Sunday is a good for me anyway. I get where you're coming from. I like the Thursday because there's generally some sort of
party.
event on.
Yep.
And then Friday is usually pretty good. I mean, Friday's the first day. It's pretty quiet, and then there's usually some drinking and whatnot on Saturday. So I could see myself like sticking around till Sunday and then buggering off on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, see, I think for me, yeah, I absolutely think it's just a case of I'm literally paying to work, right?
Yeah.
I like the nightlife stuff. I like being able to hang out with people in bars, right? I do not like spending my entire day doing work if I've paid to be there.
Yeah,
it just generally sucks. Yeah, it's just a bad idea. I could be using that time in many other ways, and then I could still go to a bar and drink afterwards, regardless.
you
right?
tried not drinking,
or I could drink right here. No, I don't understand. Really, I'm not following what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what day did you get down there? The Friday.
Friday
so you
morning.
missed the Thursday night shindigs.
I did. Yes. And apparently I missed some good parties, but I didn't miss good parties on Friday, and I didn't miss the good party on Saturday. So it's not a big a deal, really, right? Like you miss some parties, but you get to other parties, and still get to see everyone party. So yeah, NBD, right? Met up with Kleb, hung out with him. We went, wandered around, went checked out. First things first. The first thing I did was went and played Fall Guys, which is the new Devolver Digital Battle Royale, Party Royale, I believe they're calling it. And it's sort of a 1v100, but in the style of Takeshi's Castle, which was a Japanese game show that sort of put a lot of emphasis on people getting fucked up, like Wipeout or whatever, you know. This has a bunch of goofy little mini games, and you gotta play through the mini games, and as you play through them, just slowly whittle further and further, like the numbers will whittle down until finally there's one big dash for the crown at the end. And as you dash for the crown, you're running up a hill, and these boulders come down and they knock you down and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's super amusing. I played it. I wound up playing about 4 times. I really enjoyed it. They had 8 players available at PAX. Every player had their own screen, and it had they filled with, I think, 62 or 72 AI. It wasn't like a full 100 game, I think, but they filled out the rest with AI, and it was extremely amusing. You start off with it's just a bunch of mini games. It starts off with the doors one, which is a classic Takeshi's Castle one, where you're running and you've got to jump through these doors, and there's a decent chance that the doors will open or not. And like at the start, there'll be 8 doors, and 4 of them will allow you through, and 4 of them won't. So you sort of just have to jump at them to see what will happen. And if you crash through, then you're fine. And if you don't, you got to go find another door. And as it gets closer to the end, there are fewer doors and more chances. The higher chance that the door you jump through will not be the one. So by the end, it's sort of a 3 versus 1 type deal. And yeah, it sort of just halves, I think, being the top half of people who finish, and you'll get through the next round. And then after that, they had a fixed set because it's still really early code, so they had a fixed order. But when the full game comes out, it'll sort of select them on a not true random but fairly random order. So there are some games that just won't work when you're down to the last like 11 or something. But there are other games that are like will be extremely crazy if you were to have them when in the first round type thing. You know, like they wouldn't not work, but they'd be like just a completely different experience. So I think it's a weighted RNG as to which order they'll play out in. But at PAX, they had them in a fixed order. So after the doors, it was this like platform game where everyone was standing on a platform, and these walls would come over and drag, and like if you stood in front of the wall, it would push you off the platform. And all you had to do was stay on top of the platform, and it was extremely difficult with like 40 other motherfuckers on the platform at the same time, because you're still colliding, and you're bumping into people, and like everyone's trying to get in, and there's sort of like a bit of a like that mass crush element where you're desperately trying to change. Like at some point, if you find yourself in the middle of the group, it's not really up to you necessarily what you're going to do next for a little while. You're sort of at the whim of the crowd until you manage to work your way out of the crowd. Yeah. And so there's that element. There's a little bit of panic there. It's a little bit like nerve-wracking, and then you run from one side of the platform to the other, and you're trying to stay on the fucking platform and trying to jump wherever you can. They add in like a low block, so you have to jump, and so you're jumping and making it into this tiny space, and people are getting shoved off, and trying to stay close to the front of the things. Front of the platform, so that if a wall does actually collide with you, you've got a little bit of like leeway before you get fucked and all that kind of stuff. And then the last like run is sort of like a lot of jumps all in succession, and it gets pretty hairy, which is extremely exciting. And then that one I found, I think in 2 of the games, like only a really small handful of people actually got knocked off. It's mostly about the nerve, the tension itself. It doesn't seem super difficult. It could be. They could make it really difficult. They can make it like a space that's 2 people wide, and you'd all be jostling for that one little bit of space. That'd be pretty good. But they sort of keep it a little bit. I don't know. It's not too hard yet. I guess sure. If you wanted to have it implemented later on in the round, when there were fewer players, you can make it really difficult and have like people jumping, and maybe you've got a dive button, maybe make people dive underneath certain ones and stuff like that. But yeah, for now it's pretty simple. It was still fun because of how nerve-wracking it was. And then after that, it was the tails game. Half the players start with a tail, half the players start without, and you have to have a tail by the end of the round, or it's over. You're out, and that's it. It's a basic knocks out half the fucking players sort of game.
Yeah,
that one's good. It's a lot of fun. I found. I think it would be a lot harder with real people. The AI was sort of, I guess, easily distracted. You could kite an AI person over near another person with a tail, and then just lose them. And you could also utilize. There were a lot of obstacles. Like it was sort of set on this map with a lot of like swinging hammers type things, and if you ran close enough to the hammers, you could lure the AI into the hammer itself, and then you'd lose them and you wouldn't lose your tail. So it was pretty exploitable, but again, a lot of fun. Very nerve-wracking towards the end. The last 10 seconds, whether you've got a tail or not, are like ring clenching shit, because you never know, right? You're watching in every fucking direction at once, waiting for someone to come close enough to try and steal your tail. I found you can use the dive button even when you're in midair, so you can jump and then dive, You can cover a fuck ton of ground using that. So I was like I was on my pro level shit, like just fucking jump diving from platform to platform. Because the platforms you had to like jump up a certain way to get up them or run up them a certain way. But if you jump dive from one platform to another, then you sort of circumvent that shit, and like you didn't have like you'd save yourself a lot of time. So they'd either have to jump dive across to you or climb back up again. And you just jump dive away again. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then I feel like I'm forgetting around, but I don't think I am. I think that led into the. Oh no! Then there was egg stealing. Fuck, egg stealing. What a bananas fucking round. That was. Basically, you split it up into 3 teams, and whichever team has the fewest eggs at the end loses. And so you've got all these eggs in the middle. You grab them with R2. You run them back to your base, and you drop them. Yeah, they don't disappear. They stay in the base, in the sort of scoring zone, and it counts your points based on how many eggs you've got in that scoring zone at any one time. Which means if you're, like me, you just run over to the other team's base and just pull eggs. I wasn't even taking them back to my base. I would just pull them out of the scoring zone and throw them fuck away. Pull them out, throw them away. I was literally just fucking dumping eggs out. And because I didn't have to run back to the center and grab a new one or anything like that, at some points I was doing it faster than they could fucking put them in. So they were like losing fucking points super fucking fast. And I think on my 3rd game, someone told me that the gold eggs were worth 5 points. I thought they were just worth 2 points. They're worth 5 points, and it's 0 sum. So eggs that you have are points that they are not only points they don't, but they're extra points for you. So taking a gold egg from them and putting it in your base is technically 10 points, right? Because it means they get a 5-point deficit and you get a 5-point increase. So yeah, it's a huge swing in your favor. So I was literally just standing there throwing fucking eggs out of this fucking base, yeeting eggs until I drop a gold egg, and then I'd grab the gold egg and fucking belt over to my own base and dump it in, and then I'd go back to egg stealing. And it worked. I did not lose a single game of egg game. We fucking dominated. Whichever team I was on, we fucking dominated. That one seems a bit rough, just from the perspective of there is a real chance that you might be on a fucking terrible team, and like if there's like 11 players left, like 11 players on your team, you can't make up for 10 morons. Like you're not like if you're a pro egg stealer like me, maybe, but not everyone can. Not everyone's me, unfortunately. So yeah, that knocked some people out, but it was good. And then, the final round, which boulders. You got to jump at the crown. The last game I played, I got to the crown first. Every other game I played in, I never even had a fucking hope of jumping for the crown, because I would get like I wasn't getting hit by boulders or anything like that. Like maybe one stumble along the way. But it didn't matter because like someone else would just fucking beeline and they would have the perfect run and they'd get up there and grab it before I was even fucking close to the edge. I got to the fucking crown first, and then instead of jumping immediately, the crown sort of like raises and lowers, and you got to time it right to actually jump for it. And it lowered. And I jumped way too early and fell fucking spectacularly short. Right. And I'd been, you know what I'm like, I'd been a little bit vocal, especially when I was stealing eggs. I'd been trash talking somewhat.
And yelling at your own team.
Yelling at everyone. And so, I'd been trash talking a bit. And I copped so much fucking shit. I copped so much shit for that terrible jump. Just from the crowd of people watching. Like there was a pretty decent sized crowd of people watching us play this fucking game because it was up on big fucking screens. And they gave me heaps of shit, which was well earned, to be honest. I deserved it because it was just a terrible fucking choke job. And so yeah, I didn't win a single game, but I did come close. I made it to the last round each time, but it wasn't. There was no chicken dinner, unfortunately. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. That was fucking. Fall Guys is definitely my jam. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, nice.
I have no idea when it's out. So that's helpful.
Classic.
Then classic Joab. Then I wandered around the indie section. It didn't seem like. Actually, sorry, I lie. Before I went to the indie section, I went and found the only game that I figured would actually be worth my checking out, because sort of everything else, like, it's very largely old code. Even this was very old code. But yeah, mostly I've gotten to preview everything they've shown, and this though was Doom Eternal.
Okay.
They were showcasing this. This was E3 code. Walked up. They're like, "Oh, you got to hold 2 seats. We got VIPs." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a VIP." And I get to jump ahead of the line, go in, and yes, the other VIP was an actual VIP. It was Robert Whitaker. Came in, sat down next to me, and looked like he just had his face punched in a couple of days beforehand. Yeah, but he's fucking good at games. I was like, not so fucking slyly watching him play, and yeah, he had the fucking rhythm really well, like just fucking bloop, 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 smashing. I got a little bit more time than everyone else because they put me into like just 2/3 of the way through a session, and then they let me play through the next session. So I, like, instead of just a half hour, I got about 40 minutes, and cool. It's awesome. It's obviously going to change significantly from the demo that they showed, but yeah, it really does feel like they've fixed a lot of what I complained about, like the change to the 4 different executions to encourage you to mix up what you're doing.
Yeah.
Is really fucking good. It makes you really think about how you're going to kill someone, as opposed to sort of just, and it reduces the amount of reliance you put on, like, it allows them to use ammo management, right, to reduce your ability to sort of circle run backwards, because you can't just rely on finding ammo around the room. You need to actually attack to get the ammo that you need for the next fucking little bit, next enemies and whatever. Yeah, so yeah, just found myself constantly fucking ripping and tearing, I guess. Went hunting for a lot of the fucking secrets. You can see the secrets on the map pretty easily, but they're not by any means easy to get to. There's some of them pretty fucking challenging, and I spent quite a bit of time hunting down a couple of them. Like, I didn't have to, but I think that what I really liked, from what I've seen of Doom Eternal so far, is that first-person platforming, and a lot of the trickier ones seem to involve quite a bit of first-person platforming.
Yeah, because they have that grappling hook thing now.
Sorry?
They've got that grappling hook in the game now for the verticality.
Yeah, but it's sort of like, it's sort of not, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was utilized as much as I thought it was going to be. It's certainly extremely useful, but it's sort of semi-situational. You need to pick when you're going to use it, because it's attached to the super shotgun. If you're out of ammo on the super shotgun, you have to be certain that you're going to be able to switch weapons quick to make sure that you can actually do something with it. What I found I was doing was grappling over and then chainsawing motherfuckers, because why wouldn't you, right? It works. It works. But yeah, apart from that, I found myself, like, generally avoiding using it just so that I'd have the super shotgun for when something giant came up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks awesome. Killer soundtrack, feels real good to play, and yeah, there's a shit ton of exploration. So yeah, I'm about it. I'm excited.
Yeah,
for
I think we talked about
March
the
next
delay,
year.
right? Already, I
Yeah.
think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a weird decision because I think we talked about it last week. Might have been last week how they're removing like that invasion system. That just seems so strange to me. Well, they're not removing it; they're putting it out like later on. At that
Delaying it,
stage,
yeah.
like who's playing the campaign at that stage? Like the majority of people are going to be playing, when the game is released, and the people
Yeah.
that the invasion system kind of seems useless at that point. It's not entirely useless, but it's, people aren't going to get to experience. The majority of people aren't going to get to experience that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I get that they
It's like trying to be a Bell Invader in Dark Souls.
Dark Souls,
like
yeah.
8 months after the game's come out. Like
the people that you're invading are people that are either
one brawling.
extremely new, or they've played a lot
or
of it.
they literally just picked it up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Just seems like a. There's no way for them out of that, I guess, other than to have it at release, but they're not doing that. So, I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, looks sick. Did you talk to Rob at all, or was he? He was like, shut the fuck up. I'm busy.
We just gave each other the nod. Gave each other the upwards nod.
Yeah.
That's it. I was going to ask for a selfie, but it seemed like a dick move.
No, man,
his face was smashed in.
He's totally cool with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Like I told you when we went out, man, he like does not shut up about video games. He plays a lot of games.
Yeah.
Should have got him on your PUBG squad. He likes PUBG.
Damn it. Definitely should have dragged him over that, because the next thing I checked out was Fights or Flights.
Yeah.
Red Bull's competition that they're holding, their big tournaments.
Are you sure?
What?
I thought it was Apex.
Fight or Flight?
Yeah, Apex is doing.
PUBG.
No.
That's Fight or Fright. Very clever. Very clever.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, when checked it out, the booth was fucking huge. It was a really cool setup. It seemed to it drew a big crowd, which is awesome. I think PUBG is just, generally pretty entertaining to watch as long as spectated well. And they were doing a good job. It was the ESL team doing the behind the scenes stuff, and they're pretty used to spectating PUBG now, so they were doing a good job of it. It's Sandhawk. It's got like a really fast pace about it. It's completely different rules.
Yeah,
the
it's not
are faster.
It's
no, but like they're using Fight or Flight uses its own rule set on top of the fact that it's Sandhawk.
Right.
And I was talking to like a couple of players, like Critical Motion, and everyone was saying basically this is a version of Sandhawk that they would play because it actually encourages fights. The problem that I think a lot of people have with Sandhawk, me included, is that either you spend your entire time, you spend a bit of time looting and then the entire time running, only to get shot by a snake in the grass, or you never make it into the zone at all, right? Like, or you land in the zone and like you're the snake in the grass. Like, you're not encouraged to seek out the sort of action that I think a map like Sandhawk sort of implicitly encourages. It's supposed to be smaller, it's supposed to be faster paced, but generally the nature of PUBG makes people slow things down, and that's what happens quite a bit on Sandhawk. That's what I hate about it, is that it just gets way slowed down, and you don't have good engagements. You just sort of have like all or nothing, right? Like these shitty engagements that happen in fucking moments because you get sniped from out of nowhere, and then it moves on. That's not what was happening in Fight or Flight, because the circle forces you to move constantly. You don't really have you might land in the circle, but you can't, like, the nature of Sandhawk itself is that you can't really secure one position except for being in a building, and that's not snaking, that's just holding a compound. You can't really snake around, you can't really sneak your way through stuff in Sandhawk Fight or Flight because the circle's closed too fast, and you're really heavily encouraged to keep moving, which is good. So yeah, it winds up looking a lot more like Apex, and there is a little bit of third partying going on, like Apex, and yeah, like I think it works out really well. I don't know, everyone. Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying that this is a version of like they would actually play Sandhawk on these rules. Like it makes sense. This is a version of Sandhawk that makes sense.
Sure.
Which is rad, and like it's fantastic for spectatability. It's a way better version of Sandhawk for spectatability than regular. Like now that it's in the pro scene, Sandhawk, all you're seeing is that snake in the grass horse shit that everyone hates.
Right.
That's stalling sort of gameplay. There's no time for stalling. It is fucking go. They heavily encourage kills. They obviously encourage placement. They force you to move fast as much as possible. The circle by the end is an insta kill, I believe. Like you cannot go out in the circle at all. Triple loot, so you're always gonna make you're definitely gonna have your favorite gun. Like yeah, it just worked out really well. And yeah, every fight was exciting. Everyone felt like they were going into the battles pretty well equipped. I think the biggest downside is that by the time we got to the finals each day, everyone who made it into the finals had won a game already during the day, and they wanted to make sure that they secured the trip to the grand finals of the Carriage Works in 2 weeks. And so they were playing it pretty slow to start. So the games were starting off a bit slower, and then they would ramp up into like madness by the end. But that's fine, I think. Like that is the nature. Like that's actually battle royale, right? You got loot phase and then action phase. That actually makes sense, right? And yeah, I don't know, it just worked out well. I was supposed to play around, but I had to go do a panel right when it started, which was unfortunate because I would have been on Critical's team, so he definitely would have fucking won. But gutted. Oh well. Yeah. Anyway, it looked rad. It looked like a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely gonna check it out at the Carriage Works. But yeah. Anyway, that was Fight or Flight. Then there was Hot Brass. Hot Brass is a top-down SWAT spiritual successor. You know, SWAT, hardcore tactical police action. This has the top-down look to it. As far as I could tell, we could only play the tutorial, but it was a cool tutorial. Very abstract. You didn't have you weren't a person. You were controlling this P1 icon. So I think it's very early stages for the development for the game. But yeah, still played a couch co-op, with a dude standing next to me. We were running around and going through all the things we had to do. You have to learn how to yell, "Police, put your hands up," and subdue someone. You can bash them or tase them or whatever to subdue them. Practice shooting, all that kind of stuff. It's a really cool idea, but I don't think the abstract thing works very well. I think what it's going to need is it's very easy to boil the experience of SWAT down to the goofy fun you had with friends. But at the end of the day, it was goofy fun you had with friends that was built on a foundation of a spectacular game. Some of the stuff that happened in SWAT 4, out of control. That first mission really sets the scene, and then it leaves it up to you to really shit things up by being dickheads. In the serial killer, and there's only one bad guy or maybe two bad guys in that first house, and it really changes the way you think about those sorts of games. Instead of there being fucking 40 cunts in every house, it's just one or two, and he's in a dungeon, and it's clear some fucked up shit's going down there, and it goes from there. And then then it's up to you to flashbang your friends,
Right.
just as they breach through a door or whatever. But it's good. Like it's a really interesting idea. Hopefully, yeah, they carry it off with some fantastic storytelling as well. So that was Hot Brass, and I checked out Blood Metal. Blood Metal is a first-person shooter, love letter to 80s action films, which I guess isn't inherently the most original idea. But I think, provided they manage to execute it well, I think it'll work out like really well. It's got a like every move you make, your character has this sense of momentum about them, right? So they run, and like normally you run in a game, you sort of like your gun is a static thing, and it means the classic, the first bullet has to go where you aim it, type mentality, like first shot accuracy is sort of paramount in competitive first person shooters. This sort of eschews that in favor of just sort of maintaining that momentum. So when you fucking burst through a door, right, you've got to swing your gun around, and he sort of like over swings a little bit, and so like it sort of really encourages that 80s style of fucking spray and pray, right? Like
Right, yeah.
It's not John Wick, like fucking every shot is perfect, exactly where it's meant to be. It's sort of just like fucking you bust through a door and there's three dudes and like just start fucking chopping until you fucking finish everyone. And yeah, it does a really good job of that. Like it's a really interesting, intriguing way of tackling that concept, because yeah, back then we didn't have a lot of like hyper accurate, like yeah, these dudes were super special forces, and they're standing in a forest, fucking shooting at everything as fast as they can, right? Like, obviously the thing they were shooting at was invisible, but like, yeah, that hip fire concept was pretty key to a lot of 80s action films, and
Right.
with I guess the amount of accuracy we've got in games this year, this today, it doesn't really lend itself very well. On the flip side, it does have an ADS button. You can aim down sights, and the dev was standing next to me, and I like opened the door a bit, ADS, and then tried to shoot the dude, and he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't use ADS. It's not really a game about ADS." I'm like, "Why does it exist then? Why, like, just unbound the button?" Like, he's like, "Oh yeah. Hopefully they do. It does make, yeah. I wouldn't ADS if I couldn't. It's not like I have to be able to ADS for a game to work. And considering like how I felt after I stopped ADSing, it felt so much better. It felt like it sort of conveyed the spirit of the game so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they should abandon the ADS altogether. Still very interesting. Sort of run like dog shit the first, like, I don't know, 2 minutes that it loaded. That loaded up, it ran like absolute dog shit, and then it fucking, I don't know, I'd say the first 4 deaths weren't necessarily my fault, and then after that it sort of started to run real smooth and felt really good, and that idea and momentum really conveyed and worked out good.
I thought you said it was top down.
No, that was Hot Brass. This is Blood Metal.
Right. So it's first person. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this
Blood Metal. I was very
first.
confused about there being an ADS button.
Yeah, that would have been confusing. Oh, I forgot about Hot Brass. Best flashbang in a game I've ever fucking seen in my life. Spectacular. It emits such a bright white, and the white of it sort of bleeds through to every like open area type thing.
Oh yeah, like doors.
Yeah. So it's sort of just like, and yeah, it works so well. That's fantastic. That's some good shit. Really, really enjoyed that. But so yeah, that was Hot Brass. Blood Metal was the second one. Blood Metal is the first person game. Hot Brass was the top down, and then finally played Wrestledunk Sports against Alex Walker from Kotaku. Was standing there waiting for to play, like, have a round, and Alex sort of walks it up, And yeah, I'm like, oh, let's go, let's do it. So we're playing Wrestledunk Sports is by the dude who made Hacknet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously he's staying on brand. No, it's got absolutely, as far as I can tell, nothing to do with Hacknet. It's just a goofy party sports game. There are, I think, 4 different sports at the moment. There's volleyball. There's, I can't remember what it's called, blitzball or something. There's fencing, and there is wrestling. And for wrestling, you jump. You can jump, and then you can dive, and you have to pin someone. You have to dive on top of them, and then you have to be on top of their head, and their feet have to touch the ground, and you'll squish them in the ground, and you'll get a point. And so it's basically like, it feels very almost dive kicky, right? Because it is very like one hit kill. You've got to get that one hit. And so it is about a question of picking your moment and reading your opponent and working out, the perfect moment to strike. And there were quite a lot of like feints as a result. A lot of moments where Alex and I would be bouncing like just side by side, and like I'd like sort of move over a millimeter, and he'd dive, and I'd dive on top to like, instead of like faking him out for the dive. And at one point I dove underneath him by accident, which was super dumb. Handed him a point. But yeah, like it's one of those like really simplistic but extremely fun sorts of games that works when you play it. Fencing is literally Nidhogg. It's just Nidhogg. There's no other way to describe it. You can throw your sword, you can move your sword up and down. That's it. It's Nidhogg. I think the only thing is that if you throw your sword, it disappears. And there's nowhere else to get a sword from. So throwing your sword is
not a good idea.
Not advised. Yeah. Then volleyball. So when we were going to go play volleyball, there were these 2 kids, and they must have been about, I don't know, 12 or 13, standing there near us. And I think they were waiting for us to finish. And I was like, oh, do you guys want to join us? And so they jumped in, and Alex and I went on separate teams. So they had to join separate teams as well. And I got this little dude who literally, he worked out the emote button. Like, you can emote, or like not emote, but like Rocket League fixed messages. And he spent literally every round spamming messages, and then at the same time still playing. It was like he was fucking, his fingers were all over the fucking place. He's like spamming, good save, good save, good save. And he's like fucking also jumping and knocking the ball and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so we're volleyball is, you've got 2 people, like 2 teams on either side, and you've got a like bump button, so you can bump the ball up, and you've got a spike button. That's about it. So bump and jump are the same thing. So you sort of jump into the ball to bump it up, and spike is sort of a tilt, like halfway to the pin button. That's basically all you need out of that one. So yeah, jump, spike, and it's volleyball, right? It plays pretty similar to volleyball. It makes a lot of sense. It's on a 2D platform. It's not like it's just a side view type game. The whole thing is. But yeah, it just sort of conveys the concept behind the sport itself quite well, I thought. We smashed them. We fucking trashed the other 2. And then the last game was this blitzball. I can't remember what it's actually called, but dunkball maybe. But it's sort of like a pong or breakout or whatever. You sort of like float up and down. And you've got like a wall, and you've got to bounce a ball off the wall, and then that'll destroy the brick, and then you bounce it through to score a point. And in this one, you can sort of grab the ball and power it up and shoot it. So when you're close enough, you sort of catch it, and then shoot it as fast as possible at the wall. But otherwise, yeah, you mostly just sort of fucking knock it back.
Like Disc Wars.
Yeah, like Disc Wars, yeah. And we lost this one by like with zero fucking. It was like neck and neck. We lost, and the little kid was sitting there. Fucking, I missed a save, even though he was at the back and definitely should have saved it. I missed a save. I was like, oh no, we're fucked. And he's sitting there spamming, what a save, what a save, what a save, what a save. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking elbow you in the kid. Sorry, like, elbow you in the face.
I can do this, Grandpa. Don't worry about it.
keep spamming. See what happens, motherfucker. Anyway, we lost. It was devastating. And yeah, that was that. That game's awesome. I'm very excited for it. Definitely, like, party games to the max. I think it's going to go real well in party situations. 4 players just makes sense. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, that was all I played at PAX. I did see another game. Let me see. Sorry about this. I thought I wrote them all down, but where the fuck is my app? God damn it.
While you're looking for that.
Broken Roads, too slow. Broken Roads, I only saw this one. I didn't get to play it. I don't know if it was playable. I was sort of just wandering around, and I think whoever was on the stand noticed the media badge. Yeah, and they're like, oh, can I tell you about my game? And Broken Roads is an Australian-made, like, tactical RPG that is basically half XCOM and half Wasteland.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. It's like Fallout, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It looks fucking sick. It looks fucking awesome. I'm so in. I mean, I think it's too early to say necessarily, but I want to find out more. Yeah, I desperately want to find out how it plays and stuff. Because yeah, it's such a fucking rad idea. It's basically Mad Max Wasteland, or Mad Max Fallout or whatever. And you know, obviously, I think traditionally Wasteland and Fallout and post-apocalyptic CRPGs or TRPGs have borrowed so much from the Australian apocalyptica. You know, I think Mad Max had such a huge impact in general that I think going the whole hog on the Australian aspects will be really interesting. So yeah, I'm extremely excited to check that one out. But yeah, I didn't get to play it. I just want it on the record because it looks fucking rad.
Right. Did you get to see any hardware or Joe Pass NVIDIA or anyone like that?
No.
Disappointing.
Nope. Yep. I was on some panels as well. Just to quickly talk through the panels. I was on the wrestling panel on GameSpot. It was good. It was good.
They didn't broadcast the GameSpot stuff, did they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Right.
They did.
Every time I looked to see the broadcast, there was usually nothing on.
I wasn't on Twitch. I think it was on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was on the wrestling one. We had to rate wrestlers based on our own arbitrary measurement systems. And it was basically just, so it was me, Daniel Van Boom, Mark Searles, Jackson Ryan, and Liz Lawrie. And I think. And it was definitely Liz. I just can't remember which Liz. I'm pretty sure it was Delore. And yeah, Daniel Van Boom had made a list of wrestlers, and we had to rate them. And it was basically just an excuse to shit talk about wrestlers and, you know, talk about wrestlers, WWE and stuff. Thankfully, we didn't go to new school with it because I haven't enjoyed WWE for a little while. So it was mostly, there was a couple of new ones, but I haven't watched it in like a year.
Like your John Cena. Oh, okay. Right. I thought you were talking about like Hulk Hogan, like Steve Austin, The Rock.
We did go back to that era, but we didn't go, I mean, to like the last year of wrestlers and stuff. So it was sort of a 2016 back type situation.
So who won?
Who won?
Yeah, who's the highest?
Kotobushi and John Cena got hundreds.
Yeah.
And that's because I was going to fight him.
Yeah.
If
John Were they Cena against John Cena?
100. They weren't. They just weren't as enthusiastic about him as I am. No. You know? Yeah, I know.
He's awesome.
I know. He is. They hated The Rock as well. They hated him, and I felt like I was taking crazy pills. So that's out of control. But yeah, I think they didn't like. Someone didn't like Shawn Michaels as well. It was pretty fucking weird. Anyway, it was good. It was a good panel. I had a lot of fun. It was just sort of shit talking. Then after that, I was on the G Files at a Generosity in the biggest auditorium, in the biggest theater that PAX has, in the Wombat Theater. Huge shit. It's where I did that Star Citizen train wreck.
Okay, yep.
And I'm starting to see a panel with me in the Wombat Theater, because this one was a bit of a train wreck as well. It seemed like a lot of people, like most of the panelists, all bailed at the last minute. And instead of also bailing at the last minute, which is probably what I should have done, it was just me and James O'Connor and Jamie Dalzell, who we roped in at the bar to just come talk shit, and two people from Generosity who were just filling out numbers. And it seemed like a panel that should have been extremely well prepared, that was not prepared at all. So yeah, I came in hot with a overarching theory about the mystery of how did the Sony PlayStation Vita copy the design of the Nintendo Switch if it came out 8 years before the Nintendo Switch, even though they're exactly identical. Came in hot with that theory. That was my big mystery, and that was about it. And James O'Connor brought us some Pokemon mysteries, and I think mostly everyone in that theater
was very
really
confused.
bonded over adversity. Yeah, nobody had any idea what the fuck was going on, including everyone on the panel. So that was that was a thing. That one didn't suck.
This Generosity thing, was it like a normal panel where they would swap people out every hour, or was it like you just sort of walked in and sat down?
No, it was like a normal panel. They were doing normal panels, and because they were live streaming the whole time, raising money. They raised over 40 grand. I reckon they must have made about $3 during our panel, but it's awesome how much money they made for cancer research.
I saw a bit of the cooking one
on the Sunday, right? Yeah,
I think Kelsey was on it from
Jigsy.
Yeah, Jigsy from Xbox. And Dan was there. Dan was making chili. Right. Steph. I think Steph from Pedestrian. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, fundamentally, I was very happy to be a part of it because it's a charity for cancer, and so I'm glad I didn't pull out, right? But it just wasn't well done, and I don't think we made any money, but we did fill in time. So I guess from that perspective, yay! And then we moved on back to went to a bar, obviously. Drank way my sorrows.
What else did you do at PAX?
What else did you do at PAX? The next day was the panels I was on. So first up, it was Are We the Baddies? Finding out which video game protagonists were bad guys. And that was just a shit-talking panel. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. It was basically me, Nicole Archer, I want to say, from CNETs. Oh man, I'm not good at names at the best of times. Kelsey from Bethesda, and Amanda
Hugging Kiss.
Yo. Oh. Amanda Yo from somewhere. I'm sorry, Amanda. And
she's freelance, right?
Yeah, she's freelance.
So
Yeah,
I think she's from a lot of places.
that's very true. Thank you for the save there, Luke. And yeah, we're just basically shit talking. Obviously, like it's a fundamentally flawed idea to determine whether or not these protagonists are good or bad guys, because I think a lot of what makes them extremely interesting characters is their complexity, which is why I very much appreciated how fucking dumb we went with a lot of our theories. It was mostly just shit talking, which was good. It worked out really well. It was just dumping on these characters for whatever, and yeah, I think it worked out. Very weirdly, that one did not get streamed. I don't know why. Yeah,
Because you were on, and it was the middle of the day.
Too early for the swearing, I guess. They didn't tell me not to swear once. I did hear, I think Cyril said on the wrestling panel that he asked specifically at the start if he was allowed to swear. And then he said on an earlier panel I was on, they told me I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
And they never told me not to swear. And if they're going to tell anyone, it should be me. So, yeah, I don't know. And I was on some early fucking podcasts. So, anyway, that was a really good one. I'm very disappointed that it didn't get fucking streamed, because I thought it was probably the best one that I was on, to be honest. It was very entertaining. Like, really good crowd reaction. The crowd seemed to fucking love it. They really got into it, and yeah, just really good bands. So yeah, I'm gutted that one apparently went into the black hole. Oh well. The next one I was on was pitch game ideas. This I don't think was a very well conceived panel. They had me. This is going to test me. Jess from GameSpot, Jessica from Gameloft, Graham from Devolver, and Chris from Xbox. So 3 of those people have actual real world ties to the video game industry and actually could accept or decline pitches. And 2 of those people, me and Jess, couldn't possibly do anything. And I think tonally that was the problem, right? Having me and Jess and telling us that it was going to be a bit of a laugh and that it wasn't supposed to be serious and we're just going to goof it up. Having us on there, right? And then having people who actually have the fucking potential, right? Meant that we got a mix of people pitching really dumb ideas, which I love the fuck out of, right? Like a game where you slowly but surely turn into a bin chicken, or I couldn't tell if this one was serious or not, but one where you're in a sun bear fighting league. It seemed like it wasn't serious, but it also seemed like something someone could make. I just don't think sun bears naturally want to fight that much, so I don't know how well a fighting league of them would go. Anyway, so yeah, it was a bit all over the place. Like, you'd have those crazy ideas, and then you would have like sincere, heartfelt pitches.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, this is what are you doing? Like, this is a good idea.
Someone's going to take your idea. It's on the internet.
Yeah, keep this to yourself, man. Like, this panel's a goof. And I think for the people in the industry on the panel, right, they will put it in a tricky position, because you never want to say yes to a pitch, right, and then have someone take that to mean that they're, it's on record that you said you would buy this game.
Yeah.
I think that was the fundamental issue with that panel. Because, yeah, it just wound up in, like, they didn't want to say anything. Like, that was fucking hard work. That panel was rough. Because by the end, yeah, I think we basically spoken, me and Chester spoken most of the time, because the others just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't fault them for not wanting to. So yeah, that one sucked. And then after that, it was the reviewing. Basically 4 games, 4 panelists, and their critically acclaimed games, one person actually hates them, and go. The games this year, it's a reverse of what it was the first time. The first time it was critically panned games that one of us actually loves. I think we should have gone back to that well, to be honest. Critically acclaimed games, and we're all faux dumping on them, felt extremely mean-spirited to me because comical vitriol, like funny outrage, might not convey as funny outrage. It might just seem like actual outrage. Like, it doesn't matter how over the top I go with it. People might just think I genuinely hate it, right? Because there are 7,000 fucking YouTube channels out there dedicated to literally that, right? Like,
yeah. Or when they're at that theater and they're like, who's this Joab Gilroy? And then they look you up and they're like, Call of Duty 7.2. Yeah. Who the fuck is this guy?
He's up to his old tricks. Anyway,
he hates everything.
The games were Mario Maker, Portal 2, Destiny 2, and The Legend of Zelda. My pick was The Legend of Zelda, but it easily could have been Destiny 2.
Wait, which Zelda?
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. That was number 2 for in our top 5.
I know. Right, and so my pick, like, I guess I didn't 100% understand, like, well, I was going for, when I say hate, right?
You just don't get it so high.
There are fundamental issues, right, that make it not as good as it could have been. And so it just seemed like something I could blow up, right?
I thought yours could have been Destiny 2 as well.
It was so easy to pretend I hated Destiny 2. Good lord. Yeah. It was, yeah. It just sort of didn't work from that perspective, right? Because it's impossible to explain that. Yeah, I do think, you know, the climbing is terrible and the voice acting's awful and the story's bad and the last boss is rancid shit and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right, and weapon breaking and blah, 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 blah. It's impossible to explain that, yes, I do think there are massive issues. However, it is a staggering achievement. It's not a platform for saying it's a staggering achievement in fucking like video game production, right? And you can't convey that successfully while keeping in tone with the panel, right? Like, we never fucking clarified that at the end of the day, we're not trying to dump on anyone's hard work. We're like, this is for entertainment purposes. Mm-hmm. That was never fucking said. And I think a lot of people walked away thinking we just genuinely hated a lot of games. Because after we finished with our 4, we then had to, like, people would pitch games that they didn't like, and we had to tell them why they were right and why they were shit. And I didn't do it for fucking days, right? You just take any
Bring
old
me the next
flaw
one
and dump on it. Yeah, right? Like, yes.
It's like that scene in The Dark Knight Rises where Scarecrow's like sitting there on his like throne. He's like bringing in people, and you're like, exile him.
Yeah. That's basically it, right? And like, people bringing up all sorts of games, and I didn't have a problem, right? Someone brought up Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm like, I just pitched my thought on, like, it seemed like the rest of the panel didn't have a problem. I loved that Red Dead Redemption 2, so I didn't want to necessarily, but I do know what you could fucking strike at, right? Like, I know what wounds you could open on where the flaws in its armor are. It's the time it takes to do everything, right? Like, so you just when it comes out on PC, the first mod that's going to be made is a functional fucking fast travel, that sort of thing. Or like just but it's just goofs, you know. Like, I think there was no successful way to convey that it was just goofs, and so it ended up feeling pretty mean-spirited. It didn't feel good, right? The one where we were talking about bad games or unpopular games and talking them up, that one felt a lot better to me. I guess my big scary secret is that at the heart of me, I'm a big fucking mushy optimist, and I'd rather be nice than mean. But yeah, anyway, that one I haven't seen go online either. So yeah, I didn't see the pitch one go online either. So basically, my panels didn't go online.
Yeah.
You can't watch any of this shit, so it doesn't fucking matter, I guess.
They only had 3, I think, going on Twitch, which was the Generosity one, and I think the main hall, and then something else. I don't know. There was only like every time I tried to look to watch something, there was usually nothing on. It was like a fucking trivia thing. So the only thing that I actually got to see was parts of the Ready Steady Cook, whatever they were calling it.
Right.
And I watched the Borderlands 3 cosplay because it was just on. There was finally content on at one stage. I was like, oh, there's something on for once.
I think if you'd watched the GameSpot YouTube channel, you would have seen some stuff.
Yeah, maybe I'll go check that out.
Nothing I was on. Yeah. Anyway, I did go to another panel, I should add. I went to Lee Harris's Hot 2-Ups, which is a sequel to his Hot 1-Ups panel, where he eats chili and talks about game dev. And it was honestly the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's the best fucking concept for a fucking panel I've ever seen. Basically, they start off with something pretty light. So they started off with sriracha, and they dip bread in it, and then they eat it.
Oh, so it's hot ones, basically.
Yes. Yes. Hot 1-Ups, I think is what they originally called it, and Hot 2-Ups was the sequel.
Yeah.
Anyway, hot ones. Yes.
This is the PUBG panel. We were eating chicken. It was hot.
I don't really remember, Luke. Anyway,
we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. So yeah, we we went to watch me and Cleb, and I brought Lee this lollipop that I bought for him. That I just sort of saw it, and I knew I had to buy it for Lee because all those years ago at Landers Street at a party, he got me to eat some ultra spicy hot sauce, and it fucked me. It proper fucked me. And like, according to Lee, because he told the story during the panel, when I gave him the lollipop, he told the story of how he'd fucked me up on chili once before. And then he said, oh, and I've got that hot sauce here today, so look forward to that. Right. I'm like, I actually thought it was pepper spray. I thought he put pepper spray on bread and got me to fucking eat it. And this, like, every year since, it must have been like 5 years since that fucking party. The whole time, ever since, I've been literally telling people Lee tricked me into eating fucking pepper spray on bread. Because it fucked me that hard. And yeah, it was just hot sauce. And he found it again, and he unleashed it on the panel. And so I brought him this fucking lollipop that was made from the chili extract of a 9 million Scoville unit chili, which I got my revenge. I'll tell you what, he got fucked up by that lollipop, and I believe he declined to finish it. It was too much. But by the end of this fucking panel, they got to the one that fucked me up, and he had to bust out a lollipop, and everyone on this panel was losing. They could not fucking handle themselves. Like, he's like, I'm just going to make a really easy question just to finish it off. What's a game at PAX that you're looking forward to seeing? And the responses were, I don't remember the question. What the fuck is going on? Can I have some milk? Do we have more milk? Just that. Like, it was the last 15 minutes of this fucking panel were just
people
complete
not being able to talk.
mayhem. People dying, yeah, on a fucking stage. It was spectacular. And then, sorry, and then, yeah, right afterwards, all these dudes came up. So I went to say, hi. to Lee because I'd sort of gotten in. He got in a tiny bit late, and so I sort of just gave him the lollipop and didn't get to say anything. And went to say hi to him and how you doing and whatever. And he all these dudes came up and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty good at chili. Can I try this hot sauce?" And it fucked all of them up too. I can't remember what this shit was called, but it fucked people up. It was some fucking people up shit. Yeah. Anyway. And I wrapped up PAX by leaving PAX and having beers with Frisco and Racy podcast listeners. Frisco cashed in on the fucking Patreon beer. We buy you a beer and you buy us a beer and we'll buy you a beer whenever you ask. Which just didn't see it coming.
Did you check? Did you check if he is one?
I didn't. I should have. No. Anyway,
he got
you. He boomed me. And then I bought Racy another beer. I bought Racy a beer, but he had to go to dinner or something. Can't quite remember.
Yeah.
And so I basically just bought myself another beer. Easy peasy. But yeah, had a beer with those guys. We chatted and talked about whatever, and it was rad. It was awesome catching up. Probably one of the highlights of PAX for me because, just hanging out, talking, drinking. That's basically just what I want to do, really. Yeah. Like in my life in general, not just at PAX, just in general. I just want to be hanging out and drinking.
Yeah. I saw a lot of photos and people were obviously talking. I was trying to watch panels and whatnot. It was definitely a bummer not to be there. It's the first one that I haven't been to since it started all those years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been, 6 or 7 years maybe.
Back when our podcast had a panel.
Yeah, well, I guess we had one last year. Was it last year? I don't remember.
Well, that was a
year before.
Was that the year before? Yeah.
Yeah, year before. Yeah, that's right. Because you got banned for hosting panels for a year, and then
it's true.
Got
a year suspension.
That's right. Suspension, and they took away your pay.
They took away my pay.
So it sucked because that's why I was sitting here like watching panel or trying to watch panels just to see what was going on, but no one was. They weren't showing any. Anyway, so would have liked to have been there. Maybe next year. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's PAX.
Awesome. Should we talk about some... did you see any Cyberpunk at all?
They had playing on a big AK. It was just what they'd already shown, so I didn't really...
They had devs down there and community managers and things like that as well. Yeah.
Okay. What am I going to do with it? No. There was some sick cosplay, actually. Some really cool Cyberpunk cosplay, but
all right.
I didn't get to the tabletop area, which is disappointing.
Oh.
It did mean I didn't spend way too much money on tabletop games. I can see you've got fucking product placement in the background there. Fucking detectives sitting on your big fucking coffee table.
Yeah, I did. We actually did play another thing of that. Second case, and this is a card game where you have to solve crimes. It's a co-op game where you use the internet and things like that. And basically we are in the second case of like a 3 or 4 part sort of overall campaign, and we didn't solve we failed the second one, which I like to blame my wife because basically you've got a time limit on when you can solve this crime, and once you get to the end you have to fill out a test, but she wanted to do it before we ran out of time, and I was like, but we've got you
want to take the test early?
We've got all these we've got this time, we could do like another whatever. It's like, no, we know what's going on, done.
Oh no.
And then the questions started coming out.
Classic her too.
It's like,
that is so classic her.
Yeah. And I'm like, we should have done the fucking extra 7 hours we could have spared, we could have used. Anyway, so we're going to have to replay that one. You can actually keep playing, but I think she wants to replay it. So we'll have to get through that at another stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else is on here? Destiny 2.
Yeah, what?
I installed Destiny 2. It's obviously out now on Steam. It's moved away from Battle.net and
Blizzard Battle.net launcher or whatever.
Yeah, and it's free to play as well, which is really cool. So a lot of people were playing this while I was I don't know, just playing other stuff. There was stacks of people playing, which was insane. And so I thought I'd check it out. I installed it, jumped in, and immediately realized that my character was no longer relevant anymore. So all those hours that I put in basically starts you off at 0 again, because they've bumped up the light level to a new sort of benchmark, which is like 750 light. So you don't start off at 0 anymore. The baseline is 750. So whatever you had in your other character from when that game first came out is now 750, which is a bit crap. So I started a brand new character, jumped in, played it, and was like, yeah, sure as Destiny. It's the same thing over and over again, which is a bit...
People fucking love it though.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, actually, Destiny reminds me of that review panel. If they ever put it online, and they said they'd put them all online eventually, but if they ever do put this one online, you gotta watch it for Daniel Van Boom's game, right? You already know my game. You know Destiny 2 is one of them. You got to watch it for Daniel Van Boom's game. There is one of the greatest fucking twists I've ever seen in my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
With TVB's fucking pick of their game on that review panel. You'd never see it coming. You absolutely cannot see it coming. I didn't see it coming. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, sure is Destiny.
Yeah, I mean it's Destiny. It's I feel like it just does a bad job of sort of explaining to new players like what you're supposed to be doing. Like as somebody who's played it before and sort of understands like what is supposed to be going on, it kind of just throws you into the world and it's like, go to this mission, go to this other mission. And for the most part, it's sort of guiding you into like specific campaign missions, but there's all this other stuff that's going on around the world, but you don't really go and do any of that anymore because it's trying to hurry you off to the next planet. And so I don't know if you remember this, but you'd have sort of like your main path campaign, and then as you'd explore, there'd be like adventures you could go on, or like lost sectors, and these were like these hidden things you kind of find out in the world, or just like normal patrols. But it doesn't really give you the option to do that. It's kind of like you do 2 missions, and then that's like, all right, now go to the next planet, and it sends you off to Mars or whatever the Nexus or whatever the other planets are, and then you go to that planet, and then it wants you to do 2 missions, and then you check those off, and then off you go to the next planet again. And I think the reason why that's happened is they've gotten rid of, as far as I can tell, the leveling system is gone, because this new character I created, you don't level up anymore. You just select how you want your build to be, and so now there's no reason to actually do like those missions other than to get higher level gear. Because
and for the story,
yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is for you to do the story, you've got to be doing all the side content and the adventures and like learning about the world and whatnot. But it's making you go so quickly through all that content. There's no point. So anyway, I'm on PC. Shooting's really good. It's those guys. They make good shooters, and it runs well. But it just feels like Destiny. Like they haven't done anything to really significantly change the campaign stuff. I know there's some good stuff in like the raid content and the way it sort of gets you to do that, but that's such a huge grind to get to that point, and I think that takes way too long. So I don't know. And at the point now where you have to buy this new content and And even now, people are saying that it's not that good. The Shadow Keep stuff, like I've heard a lot of people that are into it being like it's pretty not that great. So I don't know if it's worth sinking for me, who wants to start a new character on PC. It's worth sinking 40, 50 hours to get to that point where I can play that content. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it. Like what WoW did was back in the day, they'd release new content and then go back and like update old missions, and they get rid of some of the old missions and sort of revamp the way that they worked. Obviously, if you play WoW Classic, that stuff is still there, but they like update their game design, whereas that's not something that's happening here. It's still it's still using mechanics from Destiny 1. So yeah, I just couldn't really get into it all that much. But otherwise, yeah. So I don't think I'm going to jump back into that anymore. Not during what is going to be a busy couple of weeks. So. Yep. I mean, people are enjoying it. It looks like there's still tons of people playing it. It's just not. I just don't think it's for me. They haven't done enough in there that sort of, I don't know, makes me want to go back and play it. And the thing that annoys me the most is that all that effort that we put into playing that game is basically gone. Like that character I've got is worthless now. It'd be like going back to like all these WoW characters that you leveled up, and then not being able to use them anymore.
Yeah.
At least you can get that character and play like the new content that comes out, like the expansion.
Yep.
But here it seems like you can't do that because you've reset back at 0 again. So you've got to do that grind back up to that point, which I think is crap. So, yeah. The other thing I've got on here is, I don't know if you want to do like a quick Empires and Puzzles.
Let's do it.
Update. We haven't talked about it for a while, but I know that you've been playing a lot as well. Still playing it?
Sure am. I'm up to team power level 2800, which is pretty high, I think.
Oh yeah. I think mine's at like 34. Maybe.
Fucking okay. Okay, champ. Fucking whatever. This game's driving me fucking bananas. Because I've got 2 characters now that I need to ascend.
Yeah.
Right. So the way it works is you level your characters up to max, and then you ascend them, and you have to level them up again. You level them up by like sort of burning through heroes that are the same color.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's just the most efficient way to do it. You can use whatever heroes you want, but same color is the most efficient way. And you level them up that way. Each time you ascend, you need to use these ascension items.
Yep.
And that's the only way to get them to the max level. I am now 1 5-star and 4 4-star characters.
Okay.
Yes, I have been extremely lucky.
You had a 5-star before I did.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what it is, right? Like, I know there's the idea that you can exploit RNG by through certain behaviors. You know how games will, I guess, lean on their RNG if they think
You're not going to come back. Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't been doing anything like that, so I don't know what the fuck. Like, I think I really just got lucky. Yeah. The 5-star I've got is shit. Like, it is, if you go on the forums to work out what the worst 5-star is, it's routinely named. So, yeah, it's not like, it's a 5-star, and it will definitely be more powerful. Like, once it's at max level, it'll easily wallop any 4-star, but it will lose to pretty much every other 5-star.
You just sit up front as your tank. It's fine.
He just eats shit. Yeah, that's all he needs to do. Eat shit. If I ever get I believe there are some troops you can get that increase your mana rate. Right.
Okay.
The rate at which you get mana. Apparently, that's the only way to make him viable.
All right.
Is you get because he's purple. You need purple troops that increase the rate at which you earn mana. you can actually get him up to from very slow to just slow mana rate, or essentially the equivalent of slow mana rate. And then he actually earns mana at a rate that means he uses his his skill at any point. Because I get lucky. I'm lucky to use a fucking special skill with him once a fucking match. He will live. He will live the entire fucking game. He there have been a number of because you play PvP and I'll pick up I'll pick a match against someone who has the same fucking team power rating as me, and I will have everyone is dead except for him, and they will have 4 people left on half health, and I can. That's not a losing game for me, right? He lives through so much shit. He will just eat shit constantly, non-stop. But he won't actually use a special skill throughout that entire fucking time. He will not use it once. If he used it once, the few games where I'll get a purple diamond at the start of a round, and then I'll wait to build it up a bit, and then I'll punch it, and he will I get to call it in early, call his special skill early. Those are insta wins. I could probably beat people 200 or 300 points higher than me if I could actually get that to play off, because it increases the mana rate of my units and it decreases the mana rate of everyone else, of my enemies, and it gives me that riposte, the reflect damage.
Oh yeah. I fucking hate that.
Oh my lord, it is wild
when it's paired with a healer. I'm just all right, I'm running.
Well, that's why I've got 2 characters that dispel.
Oh yeah, I've got a dispels too. Yeah,
I got 2 of them now. Fuck it, I'm done. I'm done with anything else. I might go 3 dispels just to really fuck up anyone who keeps fucking calling for. It's riposte, and the other one is attack damage increase, because that shit fucks me up. That will kill purple dude faster than anything alive. I don't know what it is. He just crumbles. But yeah, anyway. So he's kind of shit. But I got 4 4-stars, 1 5-star. 3 of my characters are now ascension locked. I cannot get them to the next star level until I get a single item. I need a trap tool. I need a hidden dagger, and I need a purple orby thing. And just don't have them. If I got all 3 of them today, I could level up all 3 of those characters immediately. I couldn't level up the other 2 afterwards because I would be missing the compasses I require. But
okay,
you just got these ascension tools, and they seem so fucking few and far between. I have literally no idea what the fuck I'm supposed to do except level up my other characters. Right.
So you do the class quests that pop up. The dailies that come through. They show up in there.
Yeah, that's how I got that's how I got a compass last time. But
they alternate. Every couple of days, it'll be a yellow class quest or green, and so you can't. It's not every day they're there. It's every couple of days one will show up. So
do we have the same quests at the same time?
I don't know. Maybe.
Have a look. This is the engaging content you tune in for. Let us know.
It seems like there's a Halloween themed event coming, because all my stuff has changed.
All the loading screens and stuff.
And I've got gems ready to buy a Halloween thing. I think it's 300 to get a new card, and I've got 318. I've been building up. I shouldn't do that. I was starting to play. What were we looking at? Quests. My quest at the moment. Trials of the Shadows class quest. And then find recruits and find battle items. Yeah,
okay, so we all get the same quest at the same time. So theoretically, if you were to see that stuff show up, you could be like, oh, Joab, go do whatever, blah, blah.
Whenever there's a class quest that gets you items for Ascension, I usually focus them. They usually last for 2 days, I think, and I just burn all my
world energy
on that, because
and heals and whatever. Yeah.
Because I think I was doing the same thing you were, whereas I got to a point where I'm like, I don't know how to level these guys up anymore. Like, I don't have them. And then I realized that, oh, there's quests you can go and do. And then, so I was missed out like a couple of months worth of doing that stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm sort of locked in at the moment until I get whatever that is, because there's nothing really I can do. Otherwise, have you finished the season? Did you say you'd finished that?
No, season 1. I'm really close. I'm on the last track.
Right.
I think once I get my 5-star leveled up, he needs to be ascended. I'm about 30 levels away before I can ascend him on the last go. And then I might be able to jump back in. I feel like I need to be like 3,500 around there to finish the season. Anyway, I don't know. I still enjoy it. Just burning time in the morning or late at night.
I thought the energy system was going to bug the fuck out of me, but there's well and truly enough stuff to do that unless you are literally sitting down for some sort of hour to 2 hour long fucking match 3 session, you aren't going to burn through all the energy in time.
Yeah.
There's enough stuff that you don't wind up being energy locked. Yeah. I'm still RNG fucked, but not in the same way that I normally am. Anyway.
Yeah, and you're in my clan. Is it clans they call it?
I'm in your guild or whatever.
We got you in.
Yeah, I'm a valuable member because I'm the only one in out of fucking.
I feel like we're gonna get stomped this fight because there's a lot of.
We are absolutely going to get stopped. Yeah. I can't believe nobody else worked out that you could fucking attack people, and all you had to do was do even any fucking damage at all, and it would be enough. That is literally all I do in wars. There was a war where I did fucking 6 total fucking damage. 6.
We won by
it would have
5.
been, right? Like, but it's all I can do because by the time I get to a fucking war, because they always start at 2 o'clock in the morning or some shit. By the time I get to a war, the only people left are like 4,000 team power. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna fucking do anything against them. Like, what the fuck? So I'll go in and I'll do I'll use my best characters and then I'll do like fucking fuck all damage, but I'll flee before they heal, and then too easy, can't peasy. I've earned myself a 2-point bonus for the team. It's better than nothing. Yeah. Anyway, PUBG. Been playing PUBG more. Was playing last night. Had a really good game with Sandhawk actually. We came second. I hate Sandhawk with passion. I complain about it every time it comes up. But had a really good game on it. It just felt like what I was saying before about Fight or Flight. It just felt like that sort of game where it felt like the reason we lost in the end was because of the choices we made during the game, as opposed to constantly being RNG fucked and being forced to run into a situation that sucks. We were sort of still forced to run into a situation that wasn't outright beneficial for us, but thanks to some good shooting, we managed to we now our aim battles, and from there it was just a case of we just had to hold the circle. There just wasn't ultimately enough cover, and we didn't have enough heals. Basically, I ran into the last fight without a fucking vest, with 90% fucked level 2 helmet. We have been in some shit. We've been through war after war after war. So it was high octane, which is awesome. But it really cost us in terms of gear, and there was never it just didn't feel like there was enough time. At one point I literally ran into the blue to go pick up a vest because it was the only choice I had. I would have been two firefights I would have had to go through without a vest before getting to the final firefight with a fucked vest if I hadn't gone, and without it. It just the options were go into think it was like 18 people left without a vest, or cop some blue damage, get a vest, and then see what we could do. The vest I picked up was half fucked as it was, but still, it is what it is, right? Like, still felt like I made the best decisions that I could, and in the end, we just sort of got done, right? We just sort of lost, right? I'm cool with that, right? Actually, that's a really good game to me. That's pure PUBG. That's what I look for. But yeah, I just hate the games where it doesn't matter what decisions you make. You can't win, right? Your path to victory is sweet fuck all. Sandhawk is a game where I feel like most of the time my path to victory is not, my destiny is not in my hands, you know. And I don't like that. I feel that the power of PUBG is that my destiny is in my hands at all times, or if not all times, a lot of the time. And yeah, so yeah, but been really enjoying PUBG. Yeah, still about it. That's about it.
Cool. And Apex.
Apex Fight or Fright is on right now, and it is fucking Teamer Central, and I hate it for that. But I like it as a mode. If you could do something about the teamers, right, I think ban them for 2 weeks. Anyone who gets reported and is verified as fucking teaming, ban them for 2 weeks just to fuck them. Yeah, this mode would be fucking sick. I'd play the fuck out of it. I play a lot of it. It's really fun, right? You're engaged in the outcome of a game pretty much the entire way through, which isn't always the case in Apex. A lot of people leave when the shadows, which is explicitly idiotic, but like that's nowhere near as bad as the people who are teaming before the final 10.
Well, they shouldn't be allowed to play.
They shouldn't be allowed to play. Or they should have just done
10-minute ban or escalate it.
Yeah, I think it was Kleb pitched, if you're inside of a certain like space, like distance from another person, and you're not shooting, then you take tick damage or something. I think that's a good idea, because it'd tell you that someone was nearby, right? And your choices would be to shoot, which would alert other people, or B, yeah, like you just wouldn't be able to, like, if you were teaming, you'd have to spray out a significant amount, which would make you a lot more vulnerable to shadows. The other alternative would be to just allow people to queue as teams. I don't know why they didn't do that. That's really, that shouldn't have been solos. I really want to play it like in a team. Just like have one team randomly selected as the shadows from the start. I reckon. Why not? Like you can always, like you'll always get in the next game.
Well,
like,
I thought it was going to be.
People are always going to die.
I thought it was going to be just the final 10 as like the final 10. Then all of a sudden works as a giant team, which it'd still work, right? Because you just play it like a normal Apex match, and then.
What do you mean? That is what happens.
No, but it's solo at the moment.
Yeah, it's solo, and then in the final 10, they're all one big team.
Right. Yeah, but you could also play it in squads or trios, and then when there's 10 players left, all of a sudden they become one team.
Oh, right.
You can still have it work that way.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work, right? Like this, I fundamentally cannot imagine what makes that concepts untenable, but for some reason they decided it had to be solos. I just don't agree with it. Like, I think queuing as teams is what people get into Apex for. So I think it sort of took the wind out of its sails a little bit when then you had to queue solo. Yeah. And I think it would also stop a lot of the teaming because people would be on teams by like default, right? Like, yeah. Anyway, otherwise, I think it's a cool idea. I like the night mode, Kings Canyon, and yeah, generally pretty good.
Yeah, I got to check it out.
You played it?
No.
Oh, you haven't played it yet? Oh, yeah, you only just got back.
Chance.
All right, never mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. Kleb won. I think his second game. which was quite well done. I've seen a lot of people complaining on Reddit that shadows are way too powerful, but I reckon the game Kleb won might be the game Kleb and I won as shadows might have been the only game where I've seen the shadows win.
Right. Yeah.
Most of the time, I think the heroes get away. Like at least one or two heroes will get away. Yeah.
How much damage do they take?
One hit does 158 damage.
Yeah,
so if you get down one hit if you've only got white armor. Sorry. Yeah. In my opinion, everyone like white armor should be the highest level armor. Anything higher is just a bit dumb, in my opinion. I actually spent the first two games, I got all the way through, and I was convinced that you couldn't get better than white armor. Like 100% convinced. Because I never saw better than white armor the entire time. And I was looting everywhere I could. I just didn't see better than white armor. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, you can only get white armor. And then you get hit by a fucking shadow and you go down and you're like, that makes sense, actually. You know, like, you've got armor so you can, like, win your gunfights, but you're still extremely vulnerable to shadows. That actually makes a bit of sense to me, yeah. And then the second game, I switched around to the other players in the top 10. And one of them had purple armor, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Hold up, I've been running around with fucking garbage this whole time. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
All
right. Is that everything?
That is everything.
Yeah, there's a lot there. All right, should we do some news quickly?
Yep.
We got a Blizzard / Hearthstone update, which we talked about at length last week. This was a player that, during an interview for his match, talked about the situation in China and Hong Kong. And then Blizzard decided to ban him for a year and take his prize money away. So did you want to want to talk about what's happened since then?
Yeah, the internet lost its fucking shit about it, which they rightly should have. And Blizzard has essentially capitulated. And they gave him his fucking money back. And they reduced the time of the suspension to 6 months. They also said they wouldn't, like, they were, you know, putting the casters on suspension. But they weren't outright firing them as well. And yeah.
And so this is after other people started doing similar things, right? They had the university.
Oh yeah, so yeah, UA, University of America, I think it is. AU, American University.
Right.
They held up a sign saying "Free Hong Kong," and then they weren't banned, and so they issued a statement rejecting Blizzard's movement and quitting quitting the tournament in protest because they weren't banned the same way Blitzchung was, which I think was a fucking mad solidarity move. And yeah, it's become quite a big thing. I just want to point out that Blizzard did basically what I said they should have done in the first place. But I think people, like I was saying last week, like there's no room for nuance. You can't say, oh yeah, I do think, you know, at the end of the day, some spaces shouldn't be used for the broadcasting of politics, but at the same time, Blizzard overreacted and did the wrong thing. Nobody wants to hear that. So people are still like, well, Blizzard's still, you know, in the wrong. I don't know. It's a tricky one, right? That said, there are, you know, worse responses, I think, you could make. You could say, you know, it's really tough being a basketball player playing in China right now because it's not as comfortable as I'm used to and stuff. You know, while people are literally dying on the streets of Hong Kong, you could complain about how hard it is to be a multi-million-dollar paid athlete because someone said something in a tweet. Yeah, LeBron, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. So grumpy at him.
Yeah.
I went to a thing yesterday and I chose specifically to not wear my LeBrons, so I'm still mad at him.
Yeah.
I had to stop wearing my KDs because I'm mad at KD. Now I'm not wearing LeBrons because I'm mad at LeBron. Like, I'm running out of fucking shoes to wear, boys. Like, let's get our shit together.
You get some Pumas.
Yeah. I got my Paul Georges, so
Yeah.
so far so good. Yeah. Get some Best Brooks.
Yeah.
He's never gonna say anything too heinous. He's never gonna say anything at all. He hates talking in interviews. Yeah. I don't know. It's a tricky, very interesting situation. That actually sort of leads into our next bit of news.
Oh, before we jump to that.
Okay.
But he's not a CEO, is he? The president? What do they call him? I don't know. The statement they put out from the
oh my lord,
Blizzard was
J. Allen Brack,
terrible. Yeah.
It was the classic corporate apology, non-apology. You know, the classic, we're sorry you were offended. You know, type gambit that never ever goes over well. So I cannot understand why they thought they'd have a punter. People have like sort of torn it to bits for the trying to dissect whether or not it was written by a
PR or
person. Someone like from China who speaks English as a second language, because they were theorizing that it was full of sort of Chinese speaking patterns and stuff.
Sure.
Whether or not that is true, and I've got no, I don't really have a position on whether or not it is. I mean, it's speculation at best. Whether or not it is true, though, the grammar in that fucking letter was all over the place, regardless of whether or not it was written by a Chinese-speaking, like first language Chinese person or what, or second English as a second language person or not. Like, regardless of that, it was. This is a letter to the community from the fucking CEO. It should be. You could at least put it through Grammarly, you fucking morons. Good God. Like, there are tools out, like, just chuck it into Word and just see if there are any fucking blue squiggly lines, right? Like, you got red squiggly lines for obvious spelling errors, you got blue squiggly lines for obvious grammatical errors, and you could have at least chucked it in for the obvious grammatical errors, like your inconsistent pluralization and your weird turns of phrase. Fuck me. And then, our relationship with China did not impact our decision, had no impact on our decision, is one of the just fucking. You gotta have a sack on you to pull that card. Good God.
Yeah.
Like that's some nuts. Well done for trying that one on. Because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then talking about how like they want their, I guess, tournament rules to be like focused on the game and not considering like a global audience and getting into politics and whatnot. But this is like from a studio who has made a game like Overwatch where they've been pushing for like things with like gender identity and and things like that, like these diverse characters, and now they turn around and go, except we don't want it in this aspect of it, which is weird because it definitely seems like all they're worried about is their money.
Yeah. It definitely comes across that way. I mean, it's definitely going to be hard to swallow future social outreach efforts from them because of this situation. That's basically the situation they've created as a result. Yeah.
All right. Next one is Fortnite went down for a couple of days. Broke the internet. We chatted about this on the general
chat in the Gap Discord, and it's interesting. People stayed up for fucking 24 hours to watch a black hole, and it garnered more views than anything else on Twitch. It was a huge thing. If there is something like interesting about the way that I think this, I haven't thought this out enough, so I don't know if this is going to be articulated well enough.
Yeah.
But if we look at Twitch streaming as a gig economy gig, the way that freelancing or Uber driving or whatever is a gig where you are sort of sporadically contracted and without any of the rights of a normal employee, which is very, very much the case in so many fucking circumstances, then I think it is grossly irresponsible on the part of Epic to exploit people the way they did. The black hole should not have existed for as long as it did. I realized that it built up hype, and it's a testament to the power that Epic has over its captive audience, and I'm sure that is a spectacular feather in their cap or whatever. But it is like the fact remains. It is the whole idea of the reaction and being so critical to so many people's livelihood when they're trying to make a living off Twitch. That fact makes that action of theirs pretty fucking irresponsible, because they would have impromptu had to, well, not had to, but tried to, regardless, stream for the entire length of the black hole system.
For when it came back up,
so that they could be there when it came back up, or they could, have the live reaction when it went down or whatever. And it's a hyper shitty thing to do. They really fucked those people. Like, I know my little nephew. He's got a little friend who's a YouTuber. My nephew told me very proudly. I checked, and this kid has about 4 views total, and he's got at least 35 videos. But he's hustling, right? They've instilled this idea into kids who want to be YouTubers that they have to be on the hustle. They have to be, on the grind. They have to rise and grind and, get that bread, and, you can sleep when you're rich or whatever the fuck. But it is an irresponsible and dangerous fucking outlook. And Fortnite explicitly encouraging it by forcing people to, well, not forcing, but heavily encouraging, incentivizing people to stay up for hours and hours and hours on end is it's fucked. It's what it is. And to end it with the servers down message, good lord. That's fucked. Anyway, season 2 or whatever it is, chapter 2 of Fortnite is now out.
Chapter 2.
And I still don't care.
New maps, new weapons, new gameplay things. Yeah. No. But I think we've said this before, like when I talked about them doing like the big event that they had going on, where it changes like inside the world. That stuff is really cool. Like they're doing things that nobody else is doing.
My little nephew was playing Fortnite before it went down, because I saw him on the weekend, and he's playing it. And he showed me, like, you float into certain towns, and like it's Gotham City, so you turn into Batman instead of your usual glider and shit like that. They do such a fucking good job with that stuff. It's like they've really captured that fucking cartoon style so beautiful. They're like, absolutely not the game for me at all, but I can appreciate how well they've done it. The game itself some events, maybe not so much. But yeah. Anyway.
Nice. And the last one that we've got here is Riot Games is no longer just making one game. They're making video games these days.
It's adding the S onto games.
Yeah.
And now plural. I actually went to the 10th anniversary celebration yesterday. I think I'm pretty 90% sure I got invited to the wrong events. It seemed like there were two events. There was one event where everyone was getting hands-on with Legends of Runeterra, the
card
game that they announced, and it was community and like streamers and press and all this kind of stuff. And there was another event, and there was only one member of the press there, and it was your old pal Joab, and everyone else there was a corporate. It was a suit, and there was no hands-on or anything like that. And
so the good news is we're now on an executive podcast. You sold the show, right?
This is of course. You're talking to the C-level. We're C-level podcasting.
We're now a 10-cent show.
That's of course, 100% owned. So I think I went to the wrong one, I think I got invited to the wrong one. I don't know what it was. Anyway, I was definitely also, it seemed like the only person properly down for what they were showing. No, not down, like everyone seemed like there were a lot of team owners and they were all pretty enthusiastic about everything being announced, but I was the only one like they had their turns out you've all got phones. I was the only one laughing at that. I don't know. I might be the only one who got it there. Anyway, it was a fucking showcase and a half though. They got fucking Project A, which is a shooter. Looks fucking awesome. A hero shooter.
Looks very early.
From what looks super. Yeah, 100% early. But I really like it looks like the shooting model appears to be important. It looks like it's going to heavily emphasize the shooting model, which I feel isn't what they did in Overwatch. So it looks to me more Rainbow Six than Overwatch.
Yeah, just people not taking damage. That person was definitely using hacks, aimbots. They were flicking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, no. Very excited to see where that goes. I'll finally be able to fucking beat some OPL players at a game. I fucking reckon I could probably beat them at TFT as well. But they announced that TFT is coming to mobile. So like I tweeted, I think that Valve Time now has a deadline. The race is on. When TFT hits mobile, which is early 2020, if Underlords isn't in a position to dominate by then, it never recovers. It will have to fight hard to hold people back from switching to TFT. In my opinion, it's going to be a fucking fight of a lifetime to get people to stay. But I'll play whichever one I think is better at the end of the day. But for now, whichever one has a mobile version is better. So for now, Underlords continues to be my preference. But yeah, they've pissed away so much goodwill. I haven't checked the Steam charts on it for a while, but I assume it's not looking great.
I still play it.
Yeah, I've seen you playing it. You and the other three people playing fucking Artifact. I get it, buddy. Don't worry about it. That's all love Artifact. I mean, Underlords. 11,000. It's not doing too bad actually. It's plateaued. It's heavily plateaued, but it's definitely not where.
I mean, it's still early access, whatever they're calling it.
It's technically dropped out of the top 20 on Steam. So
I think there's a big new update coming really soon. They keep talking about it.
Yeah, I think JB or Baz was saying on Twitter
Yeah, they keep pushing it back.
It's just around the corner. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, there's that. There's Legends of Runeterra, which is I'm not in the beta for whatever reason. Probably because I got invited to the wrong thing. But yeah, I can't help but everything I've seen of this game
Looks like Hearthstone.
it looks like single lane artifact to me.
All right.
It really looks like single lane artifact. I don't know if I'm looking at it wrong or what, but like, yeah, I don't understand.
Oh. When I
anyway.
look at it, it looks like graphically or the aesthetic of it looks exactly like Hearthstone, like the fucking line down the middle. And
how many digital card games have you played though? Hearthstone, that's it, right?
2. I think Hearthstone and Magic.
Yeah.
And Gwent.
Right. You've got a decent fucking stable of card, like
3.
Those are 3 extremely different ones. Actually, they're all largely, well, I guess Elder Scrolls Legends is pretty Hearthstone-y.
This looks like it's going off. Like, all 3 of the things that they're bringing out looks like they're going after Blizzard's launch, except for the fucking fighting game, which I don't know what that is, but anyway, it looks like Hearthstone to me.
Yeah, I think the fighting game, what's it called, Project L? I think it might have been the most underbaked of the demonstrations. Because I think they showcased some of it at EVO, and I think they didn't want to retread the same ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen tweets. Like, none of these games are even at the alpha stage yet. So, obviously Runeterra is even in the fucking open beta phase or closed beta phase. So, or at least closed alpha phase. But yeah, Project L and Project A aren't even in the alpha phase yet. So, like, these are so far off. But yeah, nevertheless, it's cool. There was something else, right?
They talked about
Wild Rift.
Okay, what's
League
that?
of Legends on mobile.
Oh, right.
League of Legends is coming to mobile and console, and they've had to build it from the ground up to make it. So it's essentially League of Legends, but not League of Legends. It's not the exact same game. Right. There aren't all the same heroes and stuff like that. They're sort of starting over. I think it's a really interesting idea. I do not think that League of Legends lends itself very well to the mobile phone experience very well. Yeah. That said, MOBAs on mobiles are huge, like so fucking big. People fucking love them. So
in China,
everywhere, everywhere. Yeah, no, I've been checking out this game called Mobile Legends Bang Bang over the last week. I haven't played it, but I've been like looking into it, and it's a like fucking phenomenon. It's like the first game selected for the esports category of the Asian Games. Yeah, it is basically League of Legends on mobile already. So
the two games I've heard a lot about lately are the Mario Kart game, which everyone's saying is really crap, and the Call of Duty one, which everyone is saying is really good, which I've not seen.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. That's about it, right? Was there anything else? Did they announce?
I literally watched some videos before we started recording to get caught up on what was going on.
They very briefly showed a board game that they didn't talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah. And that was about it.
Yeah. All right, cool. New stuff from them. I guess we'll see, right?
It was a killer announcement. I mean, it was like some E3 shit, right? Like just fucking bang, 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 bang. Woo! We're announcing this. We're announcing this. We're announcing this. We got all this shit. Look at this. Yeah, it was basically just a big old fuck you to Blizzard.
Yeah, this is a perfect time to release. Like, it seemed like they weren't even ready. They were just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's do it now.
Oh, well, Blizzard's having a bad week. Let's make it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Questions?
Do we have any?
Oh, yeah. So, Baz writes, my autocorrect on my phone changed esports to esports with the capital S in the middle. I don't care. I don't want to hear your excuses, Baz. I'm using the Google keyboard on Android. For everyone that doesn't know how to spell it correctly, how do you? That's actually pretty good. ESPORTS, no capitals. Only capitalize it if it's at the start of a sentence. It is. There's no capital in the middle. There's no dash. And the reason this works is it's actually Associated Press have adapted this into their style book. So if you're not a writer out there, we have these things called style guides that tell us how certain sites write stuff. So it might be, for example, the dash, right? Like everyone loves a dash when they.
I love a dash.
You've used too many commas, and you're like, time for a dash, baby. So some sites use the zero space dash, so it's just a dash, and they don't put a space between it. But that looks like a fucking hyphen to me, so I don't like it. And it's also internet shortcut code for strike through, so I don't like that at all. I'm not a fan. But others use the N dash. Others still use the M dash. There's the small dash, and then there's the dash. It's 1.5 dashes long. It's going real nerdy on the dash situation here. Anyway,
about double dash.
Yeah, instead of the M dash, some places use the double dash. So yeah, there's all sorts of dash situations. Some people even use the no space double dash, but that's the worst of all options. And yeah, so you need to look at a style guide to work out which one of those you're supposed to use at the end of the day. The style guide will tell you all of that stuff. It'll tell you if you're supposed to write out doctor as a full word, or Dr. DR full stop, or Dr. DR no full stop, all that kind of shit. It all gets detailed in the style guide. It's the fucking easiest way to work anything out. What you actually do, if you're a smart freelancer writing for a whole bunch of different sites, is you write it the way you normally would, and then you go into the style guide and you find and replace everything that you just fucked up, and you fix it using find replace, as opposed to writing out doctor like a fucking moron every time. You just write DR, and then you let the fucking find replace add the full stops or the OCTO for you. Anyway, so yeah, AP though is if a place doesn't have a style guide or a style book, then you just use AP style guide, and you will generally be sweet. So yeah, good question, Pax.
But you see people, I mean, email technically doesn't have that dash, because that's where I guess people like email's got it in there. It's like, no, it doesn't.
No, not anymore.
No, they got rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been 20 years since email had a fucking dash in the word. But I guess at one point it did have the dash in the capital M. Yeah. Surprisingly, we have abandoned that because it's dumb. Yeah, and the same goes for esports. Frisco writes, could the Fortnite black hole have been better used to introduce its young audience to astronomy and the impact Stephen Hawking had on science today? That's a real good question. I don't know if it was. I don't know if the people who are playing Fortnite are quite ready for the physics of black holes. Might be a little beyond them, but nevertheless, it could have been used for something. It could have been like, it could have at least been used to introduce them to the music used in Interstellar when they're going into the black hole, because that soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. You know, like at the very least, it could have been used for black hole related things. Make them listen to Black Hole Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all kinds of. Yeah.
I don't know. I meant the band. The song. I know the song you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, like just all kinds of black hole related things, as opposed to just that would have been a better use of the 7 or 8 hours or whatever the fuck it was that it was a black hole for. Yeah. Thoughts, like any thoughts? No question.
I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I kind of kept up to date on Twitter, being like, oh, has it
Right.
gone back online yet? But yeah, I didn't watch any of the like what happened after it imploded. So they
Right.
could have paid a bunch of people to sit there and talk about science, I guess, on the stream. Why
Right.
not? Have
At
them in the
least.
corner.
And by the end of the stream, finished like with a full blown like astrophysics lecture, like just hyper nerdy shit. All right. Malik writes news: Shannon Dahl has been revealed as the captain of the new esports team, the Motley Squad. The team will compete in Lenovo's League of Champions series. Thoughts on Nolsey captaining an esports team? He wrote a esports team, but I sort of did him a favor because he wrote esports. Funny story. I was on a plane, on the plane down to PAX, and sitting near one of the guys who worked at Lenovo. And we were chatting. He's like, "Oh, you got to come by our fucking. We got a celebrity coming. We're gonna have a celebrity appearance, and you absolutely have to come by. You're gonna love it." I'm like, "Oh, what time? Tell me." And they're like, "It was at like 12." I'm like, "I cannot. I already have an appointment."
Yeah.
Damn it! Why didn't you tell me earlier? And so they didn't. They wouldn't tell me who the celebrity was either. But yeah,
There's a reason why.
It was Shannon, it was Nolsey. It was fucking Nolsey. I would have dropped everything if I'd known it was fucking Nolsey. That dude fucking slays pussy. Yeah, I think it's fucking amazing. I cannot believe. Oh my lord, the meme potential is out of control. I actually can't believe he's a captain of a team. He's not a team owner. He's a captain of a team. That seems like an extra level. Like they've gone just one step further. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how good he is. But yeah, no, I think it's a sick idea. Why not? If he likes games, why the fuck not? Get Bobby Knuckles to captain a fucking esports team.
Oh, have
Right.
a TV show.
Have this as a TV show. Have them all on esports teams, but then have like individual challenges where like Bobby Knuckles has to sing and Knowles has to get in the fucking octagon. This is a genius idea. I love it. Yeah, brilliant.
You should have pitched this at the League of Legends thing.
I should have. Fuck.
You had all these executives and you
all these hoity-toits, and I didn't use the best fucking idea I'd ever had. God damn it. Me and Malik would have been a fucking EP. He would have gotten an EP credit at least on this show idea for the genesis of it.
Yeah.
But sadly, I got there too late, Malik, so I'll have to pick it up again another time, I'm afraid. Anyway, that is the podcast. I hear that your wife is back and banging pots and pans around. So
everything, yeah.
So
yeah.
all
right.
That's a wrap.
Let's get out of here. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places under the Gap or the GA Podcast. If you do have a couple of moments, please rate and review the show. Helps us get more people finding it because it's hard. It's hard to find those shows sometimes. You can find us on social media as well. You want to send us emails, you can go to the GA Podcast at gmail.com. Otherwise, we've got a Twitter account, twitter.com/GA Podcast. You can also find us on facebook.com/GA Podcast as well. If you want to check us out on a Discord, the GAPodcast.com/Discord, you can jump in, play video games, or have a chat like Joab has been with some random people. I'm not sure who these people are. Any of them?
Whoever talks.
Never heard of Baz before.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know who Baz is.
No. So yeah, that's a lot of good fun in there. You can also check out our YouTube page, gapodcast.com/YouTube. The last couple have been a bit slow to go up because I've been changing computers and all sorts of issues getting that rendered properly, but we should be back on
Excuses.
Yeah, I know, right? And also because I've been away. But otherwise, you can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all of the things we've talked about, including our past episodes of the show. And if you want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GAPodcast and become a subscriber. Cash in those beers whenever you see Joab, if you want to. You don't have to though, but you totally should.
Fucking make Luke fucking cash me. Fucking Captain fucking Sanfran over here.
Yeah. You gotta come find me.
Right? Hunt him down. Hunt him down.
BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I'll be at BlizzCon. So if you go on
thank
BlizzCon,
you for supporting us, patrons. And yes, I will buy you a beer. But it's only as long as I'm able to drink a beer at that moment as well. We've said this before. That is the only rule. We don't have to drink the beer together if you don't want. But I'm not buying you a beer and me not a beer. That's all I'm saying, right? If I can't currently buy myself a beer, I will not buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the rule of the beer. Anyway.
It's a good rule. Anything you want to talk about that you've had a busy week, so what's going on?
Yeah, check out I spoke to the CEO of Wildcard GG and Ethan, the team captain. Wildcard August became Wildcard in the Rainbow Six Pro League. Wildcard is competing in the APAC finals this weekend. It'll be really interesting to see how they go. And I believe that is all you can see right now. The rest of it later.
Cool.
So we'll get to that whenever the fuck I know it's available.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you? What do you got? Anything?
I don't think I have anything up at the moment. I'm trying to think. The last thing I put up was my after party preview, which we talked about last week. So you can go check that out if you want, and a bunch of interviews that I did with the devs. But otherwise, everything else I can't talk about right now. So it's that.
Fair enough.
It's the time of year where it's definitely getting busy.
Yep.
You've got what's it called? Death Stranding. Apparently you can announce that.
I can announce that I have Death Stranding.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm allowed to announce. No, I better not.
You can't.
I better not.
So we'll have some Death Stranding content, I guess, when it's maybe
when the embargo lifts. November 1.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Hopefully you'll get a copy as well.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
We will see you guys next week.
Next week we got some stuff coming out. What's out next week? Call of Duty. So we'll probably be talking about Call of Duty next week.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. See you then.
All right. Bye.